Hi, and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy, crazy, hectic day to join me. I really appreciate that. Tonight, I want to talk to everybody about how I think electric vehicles have quite possibly been the biggest Ponzi scheme since the dude Charles Ponzi invented the Ponzi scheme. I think that's what his name was. He didn't knowingly invent the Ponzi scheme, but true story and FYI, this dude was so hated by his community, right? I mean, imagine like being the guy they name a Ponzi scheme after. That's quite the insult. So, regardless, or compliment, I guess, depending on whose perspective you take there. You feel me? I mean, theirs or the normal one. But nonetheless, I do think that electric vehicles, only because now we've had historical documentation of them being around for like 130 years or so, they weren't going to work 130 years ago. They're not going to work today, and they certainly won't work anytime in the near future. Because otherwise, the same people who decided not to do it 130 years ago would have already been doing it. You feel me? Now, specifically, I do want to only discuss electric vehicles as it concerns the passenger vehicle or the four door, the two-door commuter car, right? Because what does make sense actually are building large scale models of mass public transit that is powered by electricity. That makes sense. What doesn't is trying to get everybody to buy a Tesla or buy the idea that robotaxis are somehow good for everyone. Now, if I haven't already, thank you very much for taking all of the time that you do to watch this channel. I have a mountain of work ahead of me for the rest of this month. My schedule is booked. I'm very happy, and I just got to get it done. So I appreciate it. I'm going to try to put a smile on my face. I'm going to try to have a good attitude about all of this, and all while providing you with zero sum entertainment. Because in case you didn't know, this is Vlogs About Nothing. So I take a crazy amount of joy in talking about nothing. I mean, it just feels so satisfying, right? It's just like having a conversation with yourself. And that no one can argue with you, no one can tell you that you're wrong. I mean, if that were the case, maybe I wouldn't be doing this just because I'm wrong so many times. And this is why I always say I'm a joke and do not listen to me. And definitely don't watch the whole video. Definitely, all the things I say don't do. You'd be surprised how many people sometimes do it. And in this case, it's a good thing because actually, a small part of me does want people to watch these videos. A small part of me does want for there to be some progress and like moving forward as it concerns these conversations of topics of conversation. Anyways, so link in the description below because apparently GM has exited the Robotaxi business. Like anyone knew, who knew that so many major manufacturer car companies were like doing electric vehicle stuff? Nobody really knew because there's one company there's one company that has made somewhat of an effort, and it's been a slow effort, and we're still not sure if it's going to actually make any money. Um, that's Waymo. Okay, so without further ado, right, we got to give credit where credit is due and not just talk about all the bad Ponzi like schemes, the Musk scheme. I just some point, maybe in like 100 years. I mean, what do you call these things? We've now graduated from the Ponzi scheme to the Musk scheme. Regardless, what's dangerous about that, and as I'm talking about it, even is we do live in a world where it probably make better sense, like to somebody like Elon Musk, to buy a company like Waymo and absorb it into Tesla, only because that would be a way moving forward for Tesla to kind of have a loose infrastructure and how it goes about trying to produce more electric vehicles or robo taxis or human cyborgs or whatever, this guy decides. What's most sus, I'd say, about all of this is the fact that it seems like we're in a poorly written C like direct to stream movie. And what's worse about this is the direct to stream, like the streaming service that it's directly going on to is a streaming service no one has ever heard of or nobody watches. And so again, Waymo has been around. I've lived in Tempe. I've seen Waymo for years now out on the road with no car, with no like driver in it. Truly, something kind of cool actually. Waymo has been doing that kind of work for a long time, and it has made $0. And again, I feel like investments into companies like Waymo are more for like the future and subsidizing transportation costs for people that may or may not have the ability to get that ride themselves. You feel me? I mean, so there's some good things that companies like Waymo are doing, and not to put my foot in my mouth, but there could potentially always be a situation or a scenario where Waymo is bought by like a Tesla or something, because that'd actually be good for their business. For the record, don't ever take any financial advice from me. I'm completely broke, have nothing, I'm a complete loser, and I just am not the person, right? So that goes without saying. Definitely, this channel never has anything to do with that. We talk about lots of nothing. One thing that we don't really talk about at all here on the channel is money and stuff like that. And that's just because it's a silly thing, I mean, this kind of entertainment is direct to you entertainment. It's not sort of like pay to play paywall kind of, what can you get me to do for $5? I mean, I don't kind of thing, I mean, I don't know. I'm a man. I used to be a boy. Like, I'd do a lot for $5 is all I'm saying. So I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's here on the internet or in the quiet confines of my own sort of circumstances, right? This is the story of every boy or man or boy turned man going back to being a boy sometimes, because what do you want me to eat off the floor for $5? Is this some kind of a dare? I'm down. Regardless, I have some breakfast burritos that I'm making right now, and I know there's a lot of sidebars, but link in the description below, because again, GM just canceled all of their plans to have any kind of Robotaxi in the future. I gotta also shout out to my Uber driver who is convinced that he's like a Tesla fanboy, right? And it's so interesting for people like to want to buy cars so that they don't have to be driven, so they can drive people around to make their money back. I think that it sounds a lot better than how the reality will play out. I mean, your basic Tesla model, you're going to spend 45,000 by the time you make that back. I mean, I'm not sure how much more money will have to be put into that initial investment to sort of make it worthwhile at any foreseeable point in the future, including the cost benefit analysis that provides the consumer with the best opportunity. And you guys aren't going to like me for saying this, but until you're stuck in an electric car and all you see are gas stations around you and no way to plug it in, and you still are wondering why you spent $50,000 on this car that's about to leave you stranded, and when, like, in reality, the practicality, ease, and convenience of just pulling onto the side of the road, filling up your car with a tank of gas, that in itself, there's so much more freedom involved in that particular action. Now, there's obviously some consequences that come along with the burning of fossil fuels, and I'm not for making situations worse, which is why I've always said, and I will always maintain the stance that petroleum oil is an inevitable, is like not a non-renewable resource. It comes from the earth, and we just need to be better at how we burn it. You feel me? That's all. That's all. It's really not that complicated. That would curb CO2 emissions, all those different types of things, right? And it would also make it so that the person buying the vehicle they're trying to get around in to do their dailies is actually going to be able to do that, right? Or if we really, really wanted to tackle such large ideas and things like that, we could invest in public infrastructure and mass transportation that didn't involve paying off or colluding. I mean, isn't it kind of interesting that, fanboy, fan dude Musk, fan Papa Musk over here is now works for Uncle Sam directly, and Tesla may or may not go bankruptcy again. I'm not the guy. What I say is not true. I'm just saying that in my opinion, Tesla will go bankrupt, right? But then, like, isn't it convenient that Tesla now is working as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency? Like, and then just to meme us all, the acronym for such thing is Doge. I mean, seriously, like, what? If you're under the age of like 50 and you don't know what I'm talking about, then like shame on you. Then you're not cool enough to get the inside joke that's been pulled on all of us. What a joke. This guy's the head of Doge. Really? Really, Elon Musk? It's just at some point it's laughable. I think I stopped laughing though when I found out that like that's actual, that's in the line of secession. Elon Musk. Holy macaroni. I hope that you guys have a really good night. I got a burrito. There's some eggs on the stove. I got to get going. I promise there'll be more than one video tonight. I definitely got to catch up. There's a few goals in my life right now that I am just going to be absolutely sure to accomplish before the end of the year, because if not, then really I'm no better than I was at the beginning of this year, before I had even started this channel. So thanks for watching my show, and I really hope to see you guys soon. Bye.